Good evening, beloved. This here is hopefully the last segment of the Queen of Heaven, Mother Child, Madonna Child worship deal or whatnot. And like I said from the last video, I'm gonna focus more so now on Tammuz. Tammuz being, in a sense would be more so like a false Messiah or a false Christ, And of course, if you haven't heard of Tammuz, you can read about Tammuz or read about some connection to Tammuz in Ezekiel chapter 8, where Ezekiel is shown an open vision of what the priests are doing behind closed doors, and what the women were doing. They were weeping for Tammuz. Now that weeping derives from the act of, or the death of Tammuz by a wild boar. And every year they would weep, weep for Tammuz and whatnot, and they would, go and kill a wild boar and cook it as a part of the feast or whatnot. But like I said, we can recognize certain cultic or paganistic worship, Queen of Heaven, Mother Child, Madonna Child worship in the religion of Christianity, just based upon certain holidays and rituals that we, and even paintings and statues that that we see and have today. And of course, like I said, I'm picking on Easter. Easter being derived from the goddess worship of Astarte or Ishtar, which links all the way back to Semiramis. At this time, around the time of Israel, the goddess name was Ashtaroth, Ashtaroth rather, whatever. Now, as a Christian, whatever denomination you probably in, you know that there's a thing called Fat Tuesday or Mardi Gras or whatnot. So Fat Tuesday, people go out, feast, do whatever lustful junk they want to do. And for the Christians, you come back on Wednesday, you get a little ash thing put on your head, and you begin a 40-day fast, until the day of Easter. That 40-day fast is not something new. It is not so much something that was a part of any form of the true church, but it came in through the Council of Laodicea during the time of Constantine in 360 AD. You even got one saint, Saint Abbot, Abbot John Caesarinus, who said that before 360 AD, what we know as a 40-day fast or Lent was not even a part of the primitive church, nor its activities. And I think the only reason why they allowed it in, the basis upon it being allowed in, is if it didn't defile the, I guess you want to say the purity of the church, I guess. And we know a lot of things, even though they don't look defiled, they are defiled in a sense. But the 40-day fast, the 40-day fast, that was not of the church, that was not of God at all, but it was of the pagan worship of Tammuz. In this sense, the morning of Tammuz. So while these women are weeping for Tammuz, they are fasting for 40 days. All right, 40 days. So we can see the connection, the mother-child connection, the mother being worshipped as Easter, and the son being worshipped through the 40-day Lent. Even the Easter ham, if you want to say that, because they would kill the wild boar as well and feast on that, because he was killed by a wild boar, apparently. And another thing about Tammuz that we have to realize is that we have to remember is that he was only called a god, or even being a reincarnated god, because Semiramis, at the time Nimrod was depicted or venerated as a god after he died. So in that, of course, Semiramis most likely declared herself a goddess, and her son a reincarnated God or Messiah in a sense. And you know, that's the horrible part about it with Tammuz. So in the whole thing is like you are doing rituals to a false god, more so preaching a false Christ, because you try to attribute these things to Jesus Christ, and that have nothing to do with Jesus Christ at all. You know, most people could try to call it Resurrection Sunday. The reality of it is we still do the same exact thing. You know, and it's kind of sad. And just to focus more so on rituals, the dyeing of the eggs, even the symbolism of it. In Astarte worship, the egg and the rabbit were symbols or symbolic for fertility, you know, childbearing. And Astarte being pictured as a bare-breasted woman, you know, longed for, desired for, or lusted after. So, you know, sexual rituals were probably done as well. And the more sinister thing that was done is the impregnation, if that's a word, of virgins by the Astarte priests on the altar of Astarte. And then 12 months later, the sacrificing of the 3-month-old infants on the altar of Astarte. All the while dipping eggs into the blood of the sacrificed infants. So it looks good. It looks pretty. Like, oh, well, you know, it looks cute. Kids go egg hunting for some dyed eggs. But the reality of it is, it's all sinister, man. And if you want to look at it, I mean, if you really look at it, it's just like we are reenacting these same rituals. We just ain't literally, in a sense, killing a child or whatever. You know, it's like, you know, somebody say, okay, we're not going to force you to stop doing your rituals, just do them to Jesus Christ. We're basically being brought back under bondage, and in a sense, to devils and lying and deceitful men.